Hi, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this webinar is one of many webinars, activities, and resources that are part of the Keeping the Dream Alive College and Career Readiness virtual event presented by the Parent Engagement Program at the Santa Clara County Office of Education. For more information, you can visit the website at parentengagement.sccoe.org. Today's webinar features college and career education pathways. How career technical education and career pathways lead to a livable wage. I'd like to start by introducing Joelle Hansen, who is the coordinator of CTE for the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. She's going to give us an overview of what career technical education is. Joelle.
Thank you, Eileen. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Santa Clara County Office of Education, and I am the CTE coordinator for Santa Clara County Office of Education. I'm grateful that parents, students, and community are watching this very informative video. Career technical education basically is many different pathways that are offered throughout a variety of different districts and high schools, middle schools and high schools, to get kids to kind of see what it would be like to be in industry sectors. And the ultimate goal is that when students reach the age of 25, they find a career that could get them into a livable wage. And career technical education is one of several ways in which students can find a viable career option when they leave the high schools.
So Joelle, can you tell us about some of the kinds of programs students might find? How is it different than the career education of old?
Right. Well, back in the day when I went to school, we had something called vocational education, which is really centered around the trades when you thought of maybe manufacturing or construction or the automotive industry. But career technical education now not only includes pathways that include your traditional trades, but also non-traditional pathways. For instance, information computer technology. We have several different engineering pathways. We have many different health pathways that can range from veterinarian assistants to medical assistants, dental assistants, and also education pathways in early childhood education, and also pathways that lead to being a teacher, business pathways, and also public service pathways. So many different types of ranges of career opportunities. And the difference between what was vocational education and now career technical education is that these pathways are not just isolated industry skills where a student may or may not use that information when they leave high school. It's really a way of establishing career skills that are not just the industry content, but also infused within high quality career technical education pathways are what we call anchor standards that focus on academics. So there's English content standards, math content standards, science content standards that are infused in that particular model career curriculum for that industry. But we also prepare them for career readiness skills such as organization, communication, ethics in the workplace, financial literacy. All of these pathways have that embedded in it. And additionally, what's really important is that in the high quality CTE pathways, we also embed work-based learning opportunities, which is really key to students being engaged in that career pathway, being able to utilize those skills in real work learning environments. And they can range from guest speakers, from a diverse selection of local employees in that industry, to job shadowing, to pre-apprenticeships and internships. And what happens in these CTE pathways is students have an opportunity to really look forward to not just graduating from high school, or going to college to get a degree, but really working on learning about that particular industry and being employable once they finish that education in those pathways.
Thank you so much, Joelle. And we want people to know that in the state of California, it's predicted there will be 1 million jobs in the next 5 years for graduates of these kind of career education programs. So the labor market is strong, the jobs are waiting, and the wages are high. Next, we're going to hear from Maurice James, who's a pathway coordinator for the county, and Tim Wynn, who is the Director of CTE Education in Eastside Union High School District. Maurice.
Thank you, Eileen and Joelle, for having us today. It's my honor to have Tim Wynn, Career Technical Ed Coordinator for Eastside Union High School District, who's going to discuss career education at the high school level. Tim, thank you for joining us today. Career education is 21st century educational model. Can you please talk about the benefits that students who participate in a CTE pathway?
Well, thank you everyone for inviting me to this very important and I think especially for me, a very worthwhile program in our high schools. Thank you, Maurice, and Joelle for leading the way for us. Joelle and Maurice being the county level coordinator. So in our district, we have had, as Joelle mentioned, these courses that are kind of loosely based around skills that are in certain industry. And over the years, what we found was that while those classes were really good and important, and it enriches the student's life, it's really doesn't carry out to as we would call college and career readiness. So when I talk to parents, when I meet with our parents in our recruitment or meetings, parent meeting nights, I would always tell parents that every parent who comes to these meetings wants their child to go to college. And so my sell to them when it comes to career technical education pathways is that with the cost of college the way they are now, it would, when a student in our district sign up for one of our pathways, essentially they have decided to declare a major in college, because that's essentially what it is. If you can think about the core classes, the math, the English, the science, and the social sciences that every high school student has to take in our district, are already what we call A through G. That means that it meets the standards of the California State University and the University of California system. So if the students are successful at passing these classes, naturally they would be accepted to one of our public colleges. The career technical education courses then would be what they would declare in their major. So for example, if a student sign up for an engineering pathway in our career pathways in one of our schools, they get to dive deeper into that topic with exposure to, with a course of study that would exposure them to industry practices that is relevant to that industry today. So the way that our pathways are built, we use economic data from Silicon Valley to figure out what pathways to put in place so that we can assure that the students can find a living wage, a career that is in high demand and high wage, to be able to live in Silicon Valley. So that's the goal. So that is and Joelle made mention of, the strong point about career pathways is the exposure to industry practices and also the work-based learning element of it. And that it sets it apart from any program that is out there in terms of getting students closer to the adults in the industry, the professional, the practitioner in the industry. And sometimes there are connections, the students themselves makes the connection as mentorship, job shadowing, and so forth. And in our district, we're unique in that we're able to provide students with paid internship that are placed into local businesses, big and small, in the career path of their choosing. So we've been lucky in that we're able to do that for our career technical education students. The other pluses in being in a career pathway for a student, high school student, is that many of our courses are now dual enrollment. So later on, you'll probably hear about what career technical education looks like at the junior college level. But for us, we have partnered with our local college, junior colleges, and San Jose State University to create dual enrollment courses that the college will recognize the courses that we offer in our CTE pathways. And if the student meets certain criteria like grades, their grades being a B or better, then these colleges would offer the students the similar level of, credits for the same level of classes in that college. So this way, the student has a leg up on getting into their college career or college and career sooner, and thereby saving parents a lot of money.
Thank you, Tim. I'm also excited that you brought a video for us today. Is that correct?
Yes, so I shared a video, it's a marketing video for our recruitment program, and it kind of encapsulates what I just mentioned earlier, but through the voices of our teachers and our students in our program.
Thank you.
So we've got students who, they know that they want to go to a four-year college. So they join certain programs so that they can build on what they want to do in life, where it's taking, the principles of engineering class or the intro to design to explore that pathway. And we have also other students that don't want to go to a four-year college and it's not for them, but they know that they want to make a living out of working at an auto repair shop or owning their own auto repair shop. So we get a wide range of students that want to join any pathway that interests them.
We have close connections with the trade unions who are local here. We're connected with local universities and city colleges, Stanford and San Jose City. We are working with summer internships to get people experience in the field and hooking them up to take the practice test to get into the unions, whether it's electrical or plumbing or framing or whatever. So a lot of those questions have to do with how does this help me get a job? And the answer is it helps quite a bit, and a good paying job, not a job digging ditches, but a job that is paying well, better than I get paid.
Common questions that students ask me before they join our team: what is it that you do there? I said, we do there everything from basic oil changes to hybrid technology, and now we got into the electric vehicle program, and very soon we're going to get involved into the hydrogen fuel cell technology. Our auto transportation program attracts a variety of students, including the students that just want to work with their hands. We teach them welding here in our program also, and how to become a mechanic. At the same time, it attracts students that are interested into engineering. An engineer becomes a better engineer if they had in previous hands-on training, which we offer here.
It was amazing how much I learned. Allowed me to learn everything from basic circuitry to manufacturing and metalworking. So it has greatly influenced me to look into more engineering fields because once you get into it and once you see the wonders of engineering, you just start to become amazed by how much you can do
So what I enjoyed the most was there's a lot of students like in my school that I guess I would have never met if it wasn't for this program. And then the opportunities that came with the program, like going to Microsoft and going to like other computer companies, I would have probably never heard about these opportunities if it wasn't for the class and the pathway itself.
The most common question I get from students is, would I be able to do animation for a living? And what I tell them is I graduated from the Eastside Union High School District, and I was able to get into an animation program in college that eventually led me into a career in animation. And so I tell all my students all the time that you have the ability to be able to achieve your dreams and what you want to do. The most common question I have from parents, other than can my child end up doing this for a living, is should my child do this for a living? There are hundreds, if thousands of people working on these films, video games, television, comic books, companies that work in marketing, where their child can be doing something that they love and want to do for a living, and someone has to do it. So what I tell parents all the time is, if someone has to, why can't your child be that person?
So after high school, I plan on going to college and continue learning about video production and going into the industry. The internship that I've already have been doing, they've already made me confident in it, and it's something that I really plan on trying to do.
The most important thing is our students being able to have success, whether it's college or whether it's in their careers, and that's what I hope that I can achieve for each one of my students.
The thing I like most about the students in my pathway are the ones who come in and maybe they know nothing about construction or how to work a saw or a table saw. Maybe the noise even scares them at first, but it's those students who come in and they're excited to learn. And so you take someone who knows very little, and then I love watching them at the end of the year look back and go, oh, remember that project that we did? Remember how easy that was and how hard it seemed at the time? So it's the students, and I get a lot of them, who are willing to try something new, even though they know nothing about it. Big questions that I get from parents about the pathway is, you know, how will this help my student do whatever it is that they're going to do in life? How will it help them in college? Because my kid's going to college. Or how will it help them, you know, in their professional career if it has nothing to do with construction? And my answer is, in every possible way. The construction and the building is just a medium that we're using to teach kids life skills that can translate. And a lot of the successes that come out of the program aren't in construction. Some of them are. Some of the ones I'm most proud of are. But some of the ones that have been most successful in life and are doing the best in terms of, you know, their financial stability and where they're living aren't in construction, but they've taken those skills outside. And so parents have concern that maybe we're not filling that gap. We are teaching those transferable skills. The real tangible benefits come in the sense that people are able to take their academic knowledge that before was just book knowledge and actually apply it to something. And I hear it over and over and over. I heard a kid maybe a month ago say to me, oh, that's what the Pythagorean theorem is for. I mean, he knew how to do it, but then here it is, and here's how it is something that makes sense. So, and a lot of those kids, most of my kids don't go into construction, but they all benefit from having a knowledge of what it takes to install this window right here, what it takes to install that wall. It empowers them throughout their life.
Well, thank you, Tim and Maurice, and thank you for giving us that overview of what career technical education looks like, and a great chance to hear from teachers and students in the program. And next we're going to welcome Brad Weisberg, and he's the Director of Career Services and the Strong Workforce Program at West Valley Community College. And Brad's going to talk with us a little bit about what does career education look like at the community college, and how do you move seamlessly between high school and community college. So welcome, Brad.
Well, thank you so much. Glad to be a part of this very important discussion. It's in a long time coming and really needs to be had, because career programs and CTE, career technical education, has changed tremendously over the years. When I was young and when some of you were young. The workforce has changed tremendously over the past few years. So career programs, whether they're in high school, the community colleges, or the universities, are really preparing students for a brand new work world, a new workforce, the 21st century workforce. The community colleges are really charged with preparing students for jobs, and programs that are CTE programs in the community colleges are all governed by advisory boards, industry professionals who help the faculty shape and contour the program for industry. So students are learning the skills and the terms and the job that employers need them to know. I remember hearing something when I first started as Dean of Career Programs at the college, and someone mentioned something to me that has stuck with me ever since. And I think it's such an important concept. And it's simply this: in this new workforce that we're in, employers no longer care what you know. They only care what you can do. So students who spend all these years studying college degrees, and then they exit their university after X number of years and so many dollars in debt, and they don't know how to do anything. Career programs is all about giving students skills, something that they can do and go make a living doing, right? So the community colleges is just one avenue. And I know we have on the screen here, we have 7 community colleges in Santa Clara County offering over 55 career education programs. And that is absolutely right, but it's just a small sliver. So our 7 colleges are part of a much larger consortia called the Bay Area Community College Consortia. This is an entity which oversees all career programs in the community colleges. And we want to ensure that the colleges are not only teaching viable programs that will lead to employment, but that we aren't duplicating efforts, that the colleges are offering a wide enough array of programs that we aren't competing for students. We're not stepping on each other's toes. So I'm in West Valley, and now I have a program in entrepreneur, for example, small business development. I would want to ensure that my neighboring colleges don't have the same program, so that we're not competing for the same students, and we're offering students really a solid career path. So not only is there governance around the career programs in community colleges, but there's also, as I mentioned, a tremendous amount of funding. And the Strong Workforce Program, which the governor instituted about 6 years ago, funnels no less than $240 million every single year into the community colleges in California to develop new CTE programs. It was so excited when that was announced, because the Strong Workforce Program has one simple little saying: more and better CTE. That's all it's all about. What they want the colleges to do is the colleges are to find areas that are in desperate need in our region and offer programs that will address those needs. So for example, here are a few programs that West Valley College offers. Healthcare technologies, for example, probably one of our strongest CTE programs. Health sciences, kinesiology, we offer Pilates certificates, a Pilates trainer certificate, a personal trainer certificate, nutritional studies. These are just a few of our programs that you're not going to see duplicated in other programs. Here's a few others, and here's some others. The geospatial technology, that's a really great program. A few years ago, down there, unmanned aircraft systems, we launched a drone pilot program. So West Valley College offers a commercial drone pilot license program for people who want to become professional drone pilots. Accounting, business, real estate. And if you were to look at the programs that West Valley has and compare them to De Anza or Foothill or Mission, you're going to see completely different programs. That's intentional. We don't want to flood the market with people in accounting degrees or court reporting, right? We want to be able to offer a very healthy supply of talent in those areas without oversaturating the market and producing more court reporters than this particular market will bear. So you can see there's a lot of effort placed in putting students into programs that will lead to employment. And as much as I'd like to say, I want all of your kids to come to West Valley College, I'll be the first to tell you that we don't offer every single program. And it's that, again, that is intentional. So for example, Foothill College, right up the road, has an incredible pharmacy technician program. And a pharmacy tech can make a good deal of money, and there's a tremendous need for them in the Bay Area. So what is the next slide? I think we have another slide that's got culinary and hospitality, you know, and our partner school at Mission College. This is one of the huge employment sectors, and especially hit hard from COVID. There's going to be a rebound, hopefully, right, in the economy after the pandemic and the lockdown, in which hospitality and restaurants are now starting to reopen. So many of those jobs went away, and so many of those jobs are needing to come back. And so we need to prepare, and we will be preparing students to fill that pipeline of jobs. So many opportunities. Here is just a small example of some of the CTE programs offered at some of those 7 Santa Clara County community colleges. HVAC technicians, ladies and gentlemen, are in such huge supply, and I can personally tell you they are making 6 figures. This is a position, and I wish West Valley had a program. It's a very expensive program to develop, and so consequently, certain schools have them and certain schools don't. HVAC technicians, computer networking, cybersecurity. There's fashion design, public service. Tesla Automotive, Evergreen Valley College has a commitment with Tesla Motors. They are training Tesla mechanics at Evergreen Valley College and leading directly to a job upon completion of the degree. Web designers, look at that, even stage designers. Virtually anything you or your child wants to do, you can learn and train to be at a community college right here in the Santa Clara County.
Brad, thank you so much for describing so many opportunities for our students. I think we don't always know everything that's out there, so really appreciate it. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what next. What would a parent or high school student do in order to move into one of these career fields?
Such a good question. Well, first of all, you want to find out what you're interested in, and you want to research and find out what schools are offering the programs you're interested in. Now, for example, if you wanted to study fashion design or interior design, West Valley College has great programs in that. So let's pretend that your child has come to you and says, I'm really interested in fashion design. I want to be a fashion designer. I want to work in the fashion industry. Well, West Valley's got a program, a really excellent program in our Sulker School of Art and Design. And they will give you all the skills that you will need to get into that industry. But first, you're going to need to speak to a counselor. And I would recommend not going to an academic counselor because they're certainly going to help you with some of the really high level necessities of transferring into a college. But most colleges have embedded counselors in their CTE programs. West Valley, for example, has an embedded counselor in all of their divisions that offer CTE courses, and booking an appointment with that particular counselor will give your student a much clearer idea of what they need to take, the classes they need to take, and an ed plan, a 2-year ed plan or a 1-year ed plan, depending on the program. I should also mention that some of these programs vary in length and time it takes to complete. So some of these programs you can complete in under a year, some of them as little as a semester, and others might take you 2 or even 2.5 or 3 years to complete, depending on the complexity of it. A counselor is going to help you understand all of that. There's also tons of opportunities and resources for students, including financial aid and DESP, and all kinds of programs that are really going to help your students succeed no matter what barriers they may be facing. And that doesn't just go for CTE students, that goes for general ed students as well. But I would really strongly suggest by simply clicking on the student services page of the college that you're interested in and setting up an appointment with a counselor. One of the first things a counselor needs to do is develop what's called an ed plan. And they talk to your student and they find out what the student has in mind, and they put together an ed plan. Take these classes first, these classes second, and these classes third. Really kind of pinpoints and makes it painfully simple and obvious for a student to go through the process. There's a really big push in the colleges now. It's called guided pathways. And the idea is to really give students tools so that they can make informed decisions and not waste time and money taking courses that aren't going to help further their educational goals. So meeting with a counselor, absolutely the first step, or just going onto the websites and the web pages of the college. Again, I know I don't want to take too much time, but very quickly, West Valley College every semester, the start of the fall and the spring semester, has what we call CTE info sessions. And it allows students to come in and meet faculty, walk through the classroom as soon as we get back to face, ask questions, talk to counselors, and come away from that event with an extremely clear idea of what they need to do to fulfill their goal of becoming a fashion designer or a business owner or a drone pilot or whatever program they're interested in. I would assume that virtually all the colleges have something similar to that, but we're very proud of that event. It always attracts 200 to 300 students every semester, and the faculty gives them a chance to interact with students before they actually they sign on the dotted line and become students. So it's a great marketing tool, but it's a great way for students to really get firsthand information about what it takes to complete a program and to get help from counselors and administration folks to get them enrolled and get their process started.
Brad, thank you so much. It's really exciting to hear the enthusiasm of yourself and of Tim at the high school level, because we have such a belief in these programs as a really important option for our high school students so that they can move into the things they're interested in and continue with what they want to do with their future. So thank you for introducing that and for giving us an idea of what students should do next if they're interested. Really appreciate it. And next, we're going to move to talk with Jessica Tabron, and she is our pathway coordinator from Palo Alto Unified School District. And Jessica's going to give us a little overview of one of our success stories for a student who went through career education. So Jessica, tell us what it is we're going to be viewing here.
Thank you, Eileen. So our Palo Alto's work experience teacher, Rachel Casey, reconnected with one of her former students who started his CTE pathway in film and media and went on to go on to college to get his degree in that art. So he is one of our students that we've been able to watch him. He came in with a passion. He was focused in high school, went on to college, and even though his career is probably going to be taking him to the next level where he wants to do work in front of the camera, he made sure that he put all of his foundational skills to use so that he knows exactly what to expect when he becomes the actor.
So he was able to start his film career at the high school level.
Correct.
Great. Okay, well, thank you. So we're going to wrap up with one of our success stories.
Garrett, it's so great to see you. I love seeing former students. I'm so bummed. Can you catch me up a little bit? Did you end up graduating from college last year?
I did end up graduating from college at UC Santa Cruz last year. I was a film and digital media major. Decided to be a film major because I've loved the ability filmmaking has to transport people into other worlds since I was a young child.
You've been doing this for years now, over probably 10 years of making and creating films. And does that include?
So like about 14 years.
Jeez. So does that include writing scripts and, editing a film in addition to acting and just, doing the camera work?
Well, yes, it like all throughout my childhood and teenage years and adulthood so far, I, did all kinds of things with ASC people and the skills I think I learned in regards to technology and knowledge for how to make films. I took that with me when I went to high school and college.
Can you talk a little bit about ways that other high school students or current high school students can develop what pathway they're potentially interested in? Like, what are some things they should be doing now to prepare themselves for when they become adults and have to be career ready?
People should really think about both what they enjoy the most and what they're best at. Because, what I've learned is that the best existence a person can have is something that they enjoy doing and also that they're good at.
I'd love to find something that you're interested in doing and see where it takes you.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for bringing us that highlight from your student and your current teacher and giving us another perspective on career technical education. Very much appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So I want to thank parents and students for attending this webinar as part of the Keeping the Dream Alive conference. If you have questions or feedback, we would really appreciate you filling out our bit.ly KTDA feedback form. Really appreciate anything you can give us about the event and any suggestions you have for the future. And thank you all so much for joining us today.